Welcome to Watchman on the Wall, a daily outreach of Southwest Radio Ministries and SWRC.com. Welcome to a brand new week of programs designed to bring clarity to the chaos and to remind you that God is still on the throne and prayer changes things. This week, Joe Horn will help us fight for our nation's most vulnerable. Jeff Kinley will encourage us as the world prepares for God's grand finale. And today, Dominick will reveal the future of Babylon. All of us at Southwest Radio Ministries and Watchman on the Wall want to say thank you to everyone who attended our Define the Dominick event this past Saturday, and a special thanks to our host church, First Free Will Baptist Church in Elizabethton, Tennessee. All of our 2025 events are now open for registration. Visit swrc.com and click on Events. We're looking forward to seeing you at an upcoming event. Last October, author Dominick shared a special presentation at our Gettysburg conference on the future of Babylon. Today, we're going to hear a portion of this important talk.
All right, let's move to our slide. This is something you probably recognize. This is the image of Daniel from Daniel chapter 2. Remember the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had where Daniel interpreted the message from God to Nebuchadnezzar, and he told him that his empire, the Babylonian Empire, was the premier empire of the world that would come then and toward the future. So it was the head of gold, breastplate of silver, and we know that that's the Medo-Persian Empire. The thighs of brass, that's the Grecian Empire under Alexander the Great, and the legs of iron, and we have the benefit of history that Nebuchadnezzar did not have at the time. That's the Roman Empire. So those are the main empires that were world empires that ruled over the civilized world as such, as what we could call it at that point in time. We're going to concentrate a little bit on this part of it because from the Roman Empire, we have the feet of iron and clay, iron mixed with miry clay. And by the way, those are two things that really don't mix. But let's look in the book of Daniel and let's read that passage of Scripture. Daniel chapter 2, verses 41 through 44. And this is what it says. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes and the feet were part of the clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest mixed with iron and miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Now, let me stop there. That is really a strange thought there, isn't it? That they will mingle themselves with the seed of men. I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, because if they are mingling themselves with the seed of men, that means they, whoever they are not the seed of men. It makes sense. Anybody object to that? Because we've got to just think of that as we go forward here. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of those kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, and it shall never be destroyed, and it shall stand forever. And we know if you continued to read this dream of Nebuchadnezzar, a stone cut without hands fell from heaven, smote this image that we saw a minute ago on the feet, ground to powder, became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. Remember our talking yesterday about mountain theology? So there we are. This mountain, it fills the whole earth, and that is the millennial kingdom of Christ. And so that's how all of this is going to end. But what we want to concentrate on is these 10 toes, because we will learn in other passages of Scripture, and we will get to those to confirm this, that those are 10 kingdoms, as it says here, 10 kings. And someone in one of the sessions alluded to this yesterday. Do you know that in 1973, the Club of Rome already has divided the world into economic sections? This is called their report of mankind at the turning point, they came up with a regionalization of the world system. And we can count there's 1, 2, where's 3? I don't see 3, but we get to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there we go, 10. You see 11? No. There is no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's 10 of them. 3 is around Japan. Yeah, there it is. It blends into the island there. But the point is, here are 10 regions, the world already divided up into socioeconomic units, and this was done in 1973. So this stands in opposition to the thought, how many of you have studied in prophecy before? Well, these 10 toes, these 10 nations is a revival of the Roman Empire, and it's going to be a European empire. And remember back when the European common market first came on the scene, there were, X number of nations, and I can't remember how it evolved, but it was 3, 4, 5, and I can remember Jack Van Impe, for one, just salivating over when that 10th nation comes into the common market, that is going to be the kingdom of the Antichrist. No, folks, we have to understand that this is going to be a world kingdom. We live in a world today that is far more interconnected than it was in the time of Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. In the time of Medo-Persia, Greece, or Rome, this is a world kingdom where all men and all nations will be identified as part of this world kingdom. And who is going to rule over this kingdom? The man, the Antichrist. The Antichrist is a man, according to Dr. Douglas Hamp, that Satan intends to infuse with this man as one of his minions, just as he did Nimrod. Dr. Hamp believes that Satan infused Nimrod. Remember the Faustian model I talked about yesterday. In the Faustian model, Nimrod sold his soul to the devil. Dr. Hamp believes there is coming a man that will do the same thing, that will become a demigod just like Nimrod. Or it could be that another evil entity, there are plenty of them out there, may do that. But in this case, in the case of Nimrod, but in this case, in the case of the Antichrist, the Bible tells us that he will be possessed by Satan. So he will become Satan's man. And if the seed of the woman is Jesus Christ, then the seed of the serpent must indeed be the Antichrist, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So we've got this 10-kingdom world government is what we've got. Now, I don't know, the map I showed you, I don't know if it's going to be just like that. I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but we know the world will be divided into 10 kingdoms with a ruler over each of those, and the capital of that one world government will be Babylon. And I use that word, the New World Order. I did not make that up. Some conspiracy theorist, fundamentalist Christian didn't make that up. That terminology comes right from the occult side of humanity. The Order of the Illuminati probably was the group that initiated that. But Madame Blavatsky's people, Madame H.P. Blavatsky, wrote The Secret Doctrine and wrote of a new world order, and her disciples, Alice Bailey primarily, who wrote a number of books on the new world order, and then people like H.G. Wells started talking about the New World Order. By the way, I have on my table a DVD entitled Living in the Time of the Paradigm Shift. Let me just take a minute here and tell you a little bit of how I started doing what I'm doing in this genre that I work in these days. I started researching the New Age movement when I was about 39 years old, somewhere around 1990 or thereabouts. And in researching the New Age movement, I met a lot of people because I wasn't shy about going somewhere and talking to authors, talking to anybody that would talk to me about it. And I developed a lot of documentation. As a matter of fact, before the internet came along, we set up a database of New Age information in my computer. When I first got a computer, I was sitting up, my kids were small. I put them to bed by 10 o'clock at night, and from 10 to 2 a.m., I'd sit up and put data into this database we were developing of New Age, New World Order, and occult material. And so we did all that, and from that, I came up with a presentation called New World Order 101, which I presented to churches and other places in the early 1990s. Initially on a whiteboard, then in PowerPoint when I learned how to do PowerPoint at some point in the 90s. I don't know when it was. And so what I've done in this DVD that we have out there, I took the information that I accumulated in the 1990s, because guess what? All the things they said they were going to do, now they're doing it. And so that DVD was recorded last year when Uncle Joe was in his prime. Yeah. Well, anyway, so it's about a year old, but it gives all the information that was accumulated in the 90s, plus the information that I gained here in the last 20 years, and put it all together. So that DVD is really quite significant if you're interested in that kind of thing. So let's keep going. Sorry for the break in the commercial, but Matt does that all the time. So if Matt can do it, I guess I can do it, right? Okay. So the Babylon is going to be the capital of the New World Order. And I'm going to tell you right now, not only is it a city called Babylon, it will be Babylon in Iraq on the Euphrates River. So how can we be sure of that? Well, the only way we can be sure of anything is go to the Word of God, right? Because that is our only ultimate source of absolute truth. So I want to take you to another strange passage of Scripture in Zechariah. And it's chapter 5 and verses 5 through 11. I'll put it up here, and it's a little bit lengthy, but we really need to look at this because this is very significant, and I might stop a couple times when reading through it. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see what it is that goeth forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, It is an ephah that goeth forth. Now, an ephah could be in our vernacular, maybe a 55-gallon drum is smaller than that. It's a container, could have been a basket, a drum, a pot, pottery, whatever. But it's like a container. And he said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead. And this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of an ephah. So if you can picture a woman being put in a 55-gallon drum and a 100-pound piece of lead put on top, somebody's putting this woman in and they don't want her to get out, right? So what happens to that is strange. And he cast the weight of the lead upon the midst of the ephah, and on the mouth thereof, then lifted up I mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings, for their wings were like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Now that's really interesting too, because there's always been a question really among Bible-believing Christians. Is there any such thing as a female angel? Is there? None are named, but what's this? These are females flying with wings. So I think probably you would have to term them an angel or an angelic type of spirit. It's really interesting. It's the only place in the Bible this kind of thing appears. There are no angels. We have Michael, Gabriel, and the other angels that are named. But here we have two women with wings picking up this ephah, this woman in a barrel with a 100-pound weight on it, and taking her somewhere. So where are they taking her? And so between the earth and the heaven, then said I unto the angel that talked to me, whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, to build it a house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set thereupon upon her own base. Where is the land of Shinar? Between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers in modern-day Iraq. And what city was built on the plain of Shinar? Babylon. And what did we learn yesterday? What is the MO of Babylon? It is the evil city. It is the wicked city. So we have a wicked woman stuck in a barrel and transported from wherever she was at the time to the land of Shinar to do what? To build it, the wicked woman, a house on the plain of Shinar. So think about what this is saying. This is saying that wickedness, a wicked entity, a wicked spirit entity, is going to be taken to the plain of Shinar to what? To build a house. How about build a city? How about a wicked person building a wicked city? How about if that means that the city of Babylon will be rebuilt on the plain of Shinar to serve as the center of wickedness during in the early days of the Antichrist? Does that make sense to you? It does to me. And of course, people will say, now this is not Babylon, this is Dubai, okay? People, the big argument about Babylon actually being the capital of the New World Order is that Babylon doesn't exist anymore. It's a pile of rubble. You saw the picture. It was a pile of rocks in 1970, and now it's a pile of destroyed excavations, destroyed by the U.S. military. How in the world can it be built during the reign of Antichrist? My goodness, the tribulation is only 7 years long. Does anyone know how long it took to build the city of Dubai from the sands of the desert? Do y'all know? 5 years. Very good. Give the lady a gold star. 5 years. 5 years. And I don't know for a fact, but I don't know of any evil entity that was given the task of building Dubai. But if an evil spiritual entity with a lot of help from, remember, we didn't talk about this yesterday. When the Enuma Elish, we talked about the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth. That talked about the building of the Tower of Entemenanke, which I believe was the Tower of Babel, which would be the home of the god Marduk, the home of the god Enlil, the home of the goddess Ishtar, and a few others. Do you know that the Enuma Elish says that Marduk released the Anunnaki, which were some spiritual beings, and honestly, I don't know where they came from. They were rebellious spiritual beings. But he released 300 Anunnaki from the underworld, and they were so excited and appreciated so much their release that they spent a year molding bricks to build the Tower of Babel. How about that? And you know how many? And they calculated with Herodotus, the Greek traveler Herodotus saw the tower in Entemenanke in Babylon, and with the size that he said that it would have taken 36 million molded bricks to construct it. They spent a year. So here you have a supernatural effort of spiritual entities molding bricks to build the home for Marduk, and what we talked about being a portal to open the abyss to release the watcher angels from Tartarus. So basically what we have here now is an evil woman, an evil entity. We're going to talk about who she might be here in a sec. but an evil entity that has been tasked, she's been put in the barrel and taken to Shinar to build something wicked, a wicked house, probably rebuild the city of Babylon on the plain of Shinar, and she will be able to do it very, very quickly. I would say that they could cut that construction of Dubai in 5 years probably by 80%. If you had entities like the Anunnaki that molded 36 million bricks over the summer. So that's where we are with this. So let's look at this. Who might she be? The evil entity that is posited on the plain of Shinar in the basket or in the barrel incites and implements the rebuilding of Babylon. She is brought to our attention again in the New Testament in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. And we know her in Revelation 17 as the whore of Babylon. And here is the harlot. Revelation 17, I don't know any way to do this but read the whole chapter. So we're going to have to take a minute and read this. Let's read Revelation 17. It's only 18 verses. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked to me and said, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. He carried me away to the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit on a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, and having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet cover, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, and having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs. This is an interesting passage because what's going on here, you have a prostitute sitting on a beast, a dragon-type entity with 7 heads, and 7 horns, with 10 horns, and all of this whole description that we'll get into. But what is she doing? She's drinking. She is celebrating. She is partying. But that's obviously what she's doing, right? She's drinking the blood of the saints, and she's just whooping it up. Why is she so happy? Because she just fulfilled her mission to build the house on the plain of Shinar. And she has just fulfilled that, and she takes on the name Mystery, Babylon the Great. Let's keep on reading. And the angel said unto me in verse 7, Wherefore dost thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her, that hath 7 heads and 10 horns. And the beast thou sawest was and is not, and shall descend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind that hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. The seven kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. The 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. Remember the 10 toes. Remember the division of the world into 10 kingdoms. Here they are. But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their strength and power to the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. And he said unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So what we have here is a woman sitting on a beast, which symbolizes a great city. And if this great city is indeed Babylon, as it says, Mystery Babylon the Great, who would this woman be? Who is the whore of Babylon? Well, we'll answer that question here in a minute, but I want to tell you first who she is not. Now, before I go to the next slide, let me go one slide further. There was a great book written on this. How many of you have read A Woman Rides the Beast? I love David Hunt's books. I have a great respect for David Hunt. We have worked with the Berean Call Ministries. I still get their newsletter. T.A. McMahon, I love Tom. He's a wonderful Christian man. This book basically said the same thing the Scofield Bible says, that the Roman Catholic Church was the end-time whore of Babylon. I still very respectfully disagree with this primary conclusion. Why do I disagree with that? I'll tell you why. Because this woman is so far to the left, I guess is a good way to put it, of the Roman Catholic Church as far as the level of wickedness is concerned, that the Roman Catholic Church could not hold a candle to her.
Mac Dominick's complete presentation is available in our Gettysburg Conference DVD set. Unlock prophetic insights and deepen your understanding of the end times with the Prophecy in the News Live DVD set. This exclusive collection from October's 3-day Gettysburg Conference features presentations from 12 renowned speakers and Bible scholars on topics like Israel and Bible prophecy, the New America, Rise of the One World Mind, the Future of Babylon, and much more. Order this complete conference DVD set today when you call 1-800-652-1144. That's 1-800-652-1144. You can also order on our website, swrc.com. Cosmic Conflict by Mac Dominick takes readers on a journey through time, incorporating theology, history, and geopolitics, tracing the flow of this cosmic war from the Garden of Eden to today's Middle East conflicts, anti-Semitism, and global politics. Along the way, readers will be urged not just to observe, but to become soldiers in the battle for righteousness. This isn't just a retelling of biblical events, it's a call to arms. Order your copy of Cosmic Conflict today when you call 1-800-652-1144. That's 1-800-652-1144. You can also order Cosmic Conflict on our website, swrc.com. Cosmic Conflict, Jerusalem versus Babylon. 1-800-652-1144. Tomorrow, Joe Horn will help us fight for our nation's most vulnerable. Be sure to tune in by downloading our free SWRC mobile app or by subscribing to our daily Watchman on the Wall podcast. Watchman on the Wall is a production of Southwest Radio Ministries and is supported by faithful listeners like you. Please visit our website, swrc.com.